What might one say against the devil? Well, start with, the devil that is part of yourself. Astaghfirullah alladhi la ilaha illa huwal hayyul qayyum wa atubu ilayh. I'm seeking forgiveness with God, whom there is nothing worthy of worship except Him, the ever-living, the self-subsisting, the supporter of all, and I'm turning in repentance to Him. And then there's the outer demons. There's different A'udhu Billahi I seek refuge statements in the Quran. I think there's 4 different ones. I don't remember at the moment, but obstinate Satans. A'udhu Bikalamatillahi Tamate Lati La Yujawe Zuhunna Barun Wala Fajrun Min Sharima Kalaka Wa Bara Wa Dara Wa Min Sharima Yanzilu Minasamae Wa Min Sharima Ya Aruju Fiha Wa Min Sharima Dara Afil Arde Wa Min Sharima Yakruju Minha Wa Min Share Vetanelele Wa Nahare Wa Min Sharekule Tariqin Ila Tariqan Yatruku Khairin Ya Rahman. I take refuge with God's perfect words, which no righteous or unrighteous person is allowed to transgress. They're given their choice, but you know what I mean. It's of whether or not they're going to obey the commandments, but you know what I mean. From all the evil of those who He created, made, and originated. From the evil that descends from the sky, the evil that rises up to it. From the evil that is spread on earth, and the evil that springs from her. And I take refuge from the evil of the tribulations of the night and day, and from the evil of one who visits in the night, except the one bringing good. O merciful one. And if you're startled, La ilaha illallah. Nothing to be worshipped except God. And in fear of an enemy, Allahummak finihim bima shet. All divinity, protect me from them with what you choose. And against an enemy in general. And remember what I said about the curses. The curses are, keep them from doing wrong, and conditional on whatever. It's not some unconditional. You don't want to remove people from something or cast things about them, regardless of what good or truth they're going to have in the future. One doesn't supplicate towards those ends. But when you're facing an enemy on the battlefield, that sort of thing is Allahumma munzalal kitabe sari ul hesabe zemal zaba Allahumma zimhum Wazalzilhum, All Divinity, Revealer of the Book, Swift in Reckoning, Defeater of the Gangs, All Divinity, defeat them and compulse them. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, I seek refuge with God from the devil who is stoned, or some other formula like that, in response to hearing the donkeys or the dogs, are troubled with thoughts or whispers during your prayer or recitation, and fear of going too far with, omens, or, we're not looking around for signs and, this is a secret indicator or anything like that. Allahumma la khayra illa khayruka wala khayra illa khayruka wala ilaha gayruk. All Divinity, there's no omen, but there's reliance on you. There's no good except you're good, and that has the right to be worshipped except you. And if you're in fear of false worship, Allahumma anni a'udhu bika an ushraka bika wa na a'lamu was tagfiruka lima la a'lamu. All Divinity, I take refuge in you, lest I should commit the false worship. With you knowingly, I ask for your forgiveness for what I do unknowingly. Now, if you don't know Surah 18, or you can't go over the entirety of Surah 18, the first 10 verses and the last 10 verses are important in warding off the affliction of the false Messiah. And there's the call to prayer. Now, don't say the call to prayer in terms of the call that now's when it starts is extra, but the longer call to prayer. But there are certain supplications that one can read. I've done this like the whatever grimoire work in terms of here are things that address the same issues. So there's specific passages that you can say for certain issues, and the Quran has response to everything, so you don't need to, look at my list, whether I've got it from the subject matter or whatever the case is. But Surah 23, 93 to 98. Yeah, the last two verses in particular are known in tradition, but the passage continues to address the issue there. O Rabbe Madriani Mayuadun Rabbe Falada Johnny Vilkame Zalamin Wanalan Riaka Manaedum Akaderun Anfa beladi ahsanu sayyana nahnu ha'amu bima yasifun wa qul rabbi a'udhu bika min hamazati shayatin wa a'udhu bika rabbi yahdurun. Say, my Lord, if you're going to cause me to see what they're promised with, then assign me not, my Lord, to the folk who are unjust ones. And certainly we cause thee to see what we promised them, as certainly ones of power. Drive thou back evil deeds with what is fairer. We are greater in knowledge of what they allege. So say, the prayer, God responding. So just like the tashahhud, we are enacting a myth, and say, "My Lord, I take refuge with thee from the evil suggestions of the devils, and my Lord, I take refuge with thee, so that they do not attend me." So their touch, their presence, as one may be familiar with. I don't remember where the narration is about in the evening, Surah 72. 2, 97 to 103 is a good evening reading, I say. And 51, 56, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونِ مَا أُرِيدُ مِنْهُمْ مِنْ رِزْقٍ وَمَا أُرِيدُ يُطْعِمُونِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ هُوَ الرَّزَّاقُ ذُو الْقُوَّةِ الْمَتِينُ. And I created not the hidden beings and the humans, except that they worship me. Except for them to worship me. I want no provision from them, nor do I want that they feed me. Truly God, He is the provider, the possessor of strength, the sure. So the purpose of life, why, and a response, all into a nice little verse here. And 46:29. وَإِذْ صَرَفْنَا إِلَيْكَ نَفَرًا مِنَ الْجِنِّ يَسْتَمِعُونَ الْقُرْآنَ فَلَمَّا حَضَرُوهُ قَالُوا أَنصِتُوا فَلَمَّا قُضِيَ وَلَّوْا إِلَىٰ قَوْمِهِمْ مُنذِرِينَ قَالُوا يَا قَوْمَنَا إِنَّا سَمِعْنَا كِتَابًا أُنزِلَ مِن بَعْدِ مُوسَىٰ مُصَدِّقًا لِمَا بَيْنَ يَدَيْهِ يَهْدِي إِلَى الْحَقِّ وَإِلَى طَرِيقٍ مستقيم يا قومنا أجيبوا داعي الله وآمنوا به يغفر لكم من ذنوبكم ويجركم من عذاب أليم. وَمَن لَّا يَعْتَمِدْ عَلَى اللَّهِ فَلَيْسَ بِمُعْجِزٍ فِي الْأَرْضِ وَلَيْسَ لَهُ مِن دُونِهِ أَوْلِيَاءُ أُولَٰئِكَ فِي ضَلَالٍ مُّبِينٍ. So 29 to 32. And when we turned away from the company of the people and the fire beings who listened to the Quran, when they found themselves in its presence, they said, "Pay heed." And when it is finished, they turned to their folk, the ones who warned. So, just don't, how many minutes is this, give it a chance. And when it was finished, they turned to their folk, ones who warned. They said, "O our folk, truly we heard a book we caused to descend after Moses, which was established as true. What was in advance of it? It guides to the truth and to a straight road. O our folk, answer one who calls to God and believes in Him. He will forgive you your impieties and will grant protection to you from a painful punishment, and who answers not to the one who calls to God. He is not one who frustrates Him, and in and on earth, and there will not be for him, other than God, any protectors." And those are the ones who have gone astray most clearly, and we'll get into other passages later today, God willing.